Hello and welcome back to Jay Kerner for Astrology. The February full moon is the snow moon, named for the late winter snowfall, characteristic of winter here in the northern hemisphere. Just as snow-covered scenery evokes feelings of peace, calm, and tranquility, the February snow moon symbolizes a time for quiet, reflection, rest, and recuperation from the doldrums of winter. The February snow full moon, occurring 5 degrees Virgo, is happening on Saturday, February 24th, 2024. Full moons always offer an opposition between the sun and the moon. This is what allows the moon to reflect the light of the sun. Since the light is a reflection, this indicates a return of something from our past. And full moons are opportunities for closure and completion, the seeds of which were planted 6 months prior under the corresponding new moon, the new moon in Virgo on September 14th, 2023. Let's take a trip back through time together 6 months ago. The new moon on September 14th, 2023 occurred at 21 degrees Virgo on fixed star Denebola, and it coincided with Mercury stationing direct the following day on September 15th, 2023 at 8 degrees Virgo, exactly on the fixed star Aolith, aka the Black Horse. I'll link my Virgo new moon 2023 video here and Mercury retrograde through Virgo video here and in the description box below for you to review at your leisure. I made some interesting predictions regarding the current border crisis, extreme weather events and flooding, and some health and viral related events in those videos, which were recorded way back in August and September 2020. 3. Oppositions tend to bring up issues interpersonally, as the emotionality of the moon works against the ego and individuality of the sun. Symbolically, we are challenged to integrate two seemingly opposite and opposing energies, and we need to watch for swings in either direction as we try to attain balance. Full moons, like we said, symbolize completions, endings, and transformations, especially full moons that occur during the season of Pisces. Let's talk a little bit about Pisces, Virgo, that axis of opposition. This full moon features an opposition between the sun in Pisces answering to Neptune, strong in its sign of rulership in the final degrees of Pisces, because Neptune rules Pisces, working against a strong and deeply analytical Virgo moon. Mercury, the sun, Saturn, and Neptune are all in Pisces, creating a stellium, 3 or more placements within a sign or house, or an emphasis of energy in the sign of Pisces. This is working against the moon, Black Moon Lilith, and Juno retrograde, all in Virgo, a concentration of energy in Virgo. Black Moon Lilith conjunct Juno retrograde in the middle, aka heart of Virgo, highlights where we tend to disempower ourselves within our long-term commitments, especially our romantic and business partnerships. The presence of Saturn in tight conjunction is a very serious energy, indicating cold, hard spiritual lessons in loss and ending. Mercury's presence indicates that we're facing a cold, hard truth or reality, or we're facing some harsh news. The Pisces-Virgo axis of opposition seeks to bridge the gap between our logical, analytical minds and our intuitive, creative, and spiritual sides. This is ultimately a marriage of head and heart, where Virgo can be too perfectionistic, nitpicky, critical, analytical, and overly logical. Pisces, on the other end of the spectrum, can be overly delusional and lost in illusion and fantasy, where Virgo is Mercury ruled and tends to escape emotions via patterns of avoidance and workaholic tendencies. Pisces does so via escapist and addictive patterns, be the addiction as simple as video games or as toxic as a full-blown drug or alcohol addiction. Pisces may also want to watch out for victim consciousness and a tendency to woe-is-me manipulate. Pisces energy. As the final sign of the zodiac, Pisces season is a time for rest, rejuvenation, creativity, and ending. This is the time of the year annually where things come to a close, dissolve completely, or change their form. As with all things we do not know and cannot control, The lesson here is in surrendering completely and going with the flow. Trust in divine timing and that what is meant to be will be. As the dreamiest, most imaginative sign and most creative sign of the zodiac, Pisces season serves as a reminder to use our creativity for the greater collective good in something far bigger than the needs of the self or the ego. February is a very karmic month and a very karmic year, with Mercury, Mars, and Venus all forming immediate conjunctions to Pluto, 0 degrees of Aquarius, upon their ingresses into Aquarius. Karmic debts will be repaid, karmic lessons will be learned, and people not aligned with authenticity will fall out of our path so that more aligned connections can fall together. Saturn's close proximity to the Sun and Mercury under this full snow moon bring our karmic lessons to the forefront of our consciousness, with Mercury ruling our logical, conscious, aware minds, and the Sun acting as a spotlight of energy. This second half of February 2024, the Sun and Mercury each conjunct Saturn, the planet of karma and restriction, in Pisces, and they each oppose this Virgo full moon on Saturday, February 24th, 2024, which is all about discernment and organization amid chaos, as we're called to balance the spiritual and physical realms of our individual personal lives. We'll be releasing patterns of overdoing, overcommitting, workaholism, emotional avoidance, addressing weak boundaries, and we'll be facing any addictive tendencies head on. Sun in the first decan of Pisces, 0 to 9 degrees of Pisces is the first decan, is both ruled and sub-ruled by the planet Neptune, the great dissolver and planet of illusion, emphasizing imagination and creativity, especially with Mercury also in the sign of Pisces. Pisces is symbolized by two fish swimming in opposite directions. It's a mutable or adaptable water sign known for its compassion, sensitivity, emotional depth, and its connection to the dream world and unseen realms. The Sabian symbol for 5 degrees Pisces, where the sun is, rounds to 6 degrees Pisces. Officers on dress parade. The key word here is discipline. Themes indicate respect for tradition and investing our time and energy on self-improvement. Let's talk a little bit about Mercury in Pisces. The full snow moon occurs in close conjunction with Mercury, the ruling planet of the moon when the moon is in the sign of Virgo. Mercury is considered to be debilitated in Pisces due to its position opposite its sign of rulership. Mercury is therefore debilitated whenever it is opposite the two signs it rules. It rules Gemini and Virgo, so when Mercury is in Sagittarius and Pisces, it's considered to be weakened or debilitated. Now remember that just because a planet is debilitated or weakened doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing. In the instance of Mercury in Pisces, it bestows a visual mind with a highly creative, dreamy, and intuitive imagination. When Mercury is in Pisces, it makes us more sensitive to the emotions of others, gifting strong compassion and empathy with an ability to see the good in everyone and everything. However, when this is imbalanced, it can be prone to wearing rose-colored glasses or falling for illusions, delusions, and scams. When Mercury is in Pisces, we can be prone to getting lost in our own imaginations and fantasy realms as we attempt to escape harsh realities. Their at time overly trusting nature and tendency to have weak boundaries can make us prone to disloyalty, deception, and manipulation by those who seek to take from our kindness, the narcissists. Mercury in Pisces is deeply intuitive and often quite psychic. Depending on the house it falls in, it can express itself differently. For example, my dad has his Mercury in Pisces, and he has a strong penchant for the arts, especially ceramics and creating stained glass. He can read everyone like a book, but he struggles with precise verbal communication and especially emotional expression and organization in the 3D. My dad has this innate sense of direction and can tell the time based on the position of the sun. He learns very visually. He can map out just about any location after visiting it only once, a gift that he passed down to me. Now, I don't have my Mercury in Pisces. I have my Mercury in Libra. Remember, Mercury always stays within one sign of the sun sign, so whatever your sun sign is, you'll either have Mercury in the same sign or within 30 degrees. So it could be, depending on how far your sun placement is into your own sign, it could be in the preceding sign or the one after. I don't have my Mercury in Pisces. I have it in Libra, but I have it in the 12th house, which is home to Pisces. The co-presence of Mercury in Pisces with the Sun and ruling planet Neptune reinforces the importance of integrating our intuition into our decision-making processes. It's an invitation to learn to discern between the voice of our intuition and our fears and self-doubt, and to trust our intuition, even if the message delivered doesn't make complete sense to our logical minds. Under this transit, we may experience sudden flashes of insight, breakthroughs, and new understandings, especially via our dreams while we're resting and recuperating, regarding what needs to be released and transformed in our more mundane daily lives, especially as it relates to our habits, schedules, work, and routines, ruled by Virgo and the 6th house. The Virgo full snow moon challenges us to balance our physical, mental, and emotional well-being as unresolved 12th house karma manifests in our physical health, ruled by the 6th house and Virgo. Our bodies are our temples in which the soul resides. When the moon is in Virgo, it is imperative we remain grounded in our bodies and nourish them through nutritious, balanced, whole foods diets that help boost our immune systems and ward off infection. Maintaining optimal health is an integral part of each of our spiritual journeys. The Virgo full moon is also an optimal time to reflect on how we can be of greater service to others in a balanced and sustainable way. As we move toward the age of Aquarius, healing our relationship with nature, food, the ingredients and chemicals that we consume, and the effects they can have on our bodies are key steps in our spiritual journeys. Let's talk about the influence of Saturn in Pisces. This full moon occurs on Saturday, February 24th, 2024, and Saturday literally translates from Latin Saturni dies, Saturn's day in English, and Saturn's close conjunction to the Sun and opposition to the Virgo moon indicates Saturn's prominence under this full moon. Saturn is Kronos, named after the Roman god of agriculture, symbolic of reaping the rewards of a harvest after applying consistent effort over time. In mythology, Saturn, Saturnus in Roman or Kronos in Greek, was the father of Jupiter, Zeus in Greek. Saturnus, which derived from the Latin word serere, to sow or to plant seeds, and Kronos, the Greek Titan god of time, evil, karma, and harvest. Saturn, one of the Titans, who once ruled Earth per Roman mythology. According to prophecy, Saturn would be overthrown by one of his sons, and therefore he ate each of his sons, yes, I said it, ate each of his sons upon their birth, depicted in the famous Goya painting that lives in the Prado Museum in Madrid, Spain. A painting that has stuck vividly in my memory ever since I first saw it when I was 15 and visited Madrid. This painting is called Saturn Devouring His Children, and it's quite graphic. However, according to Roman mythology, the mother of his children, Rhea, hid just one of his children, Jupiter, Zeus. And once Zeus was older, he tricked his father into consuming a potion that would regurgitate his lost siblings, ultimately conquering Saturn and fulfilling the prophecy. Saturn therefore rules karma, especially karmic lessons involving restriction, time, boundaries, responsibility, accountability, hard work, integrity, and determination. It rules Capricorn energy. Saturn represents things like authority, disciplinary figures, fathers, and bosses. But Saturn is not a bad guy or out to get you. Once we're able to look past our sensitivity to criticism and focus on the lesson, Saturn really wants to elevate us to our highest potential. Saturn only brings karma to those who are out of alignment. It brings rewards for hard work, practicing self-discipline, and embodying personal accountability and integrity. Saturn's 2.5-year through Pisces from March 2023 to 2025 features themes of facing emotional avoidance and escapist tendencies, spiritual maturation, boundaries, integrity, and renowned relationship to service. Saturn in Pisces ultimately wants to bring your dreams, Pisces, to 3D reality through consistent effort applied over time. Saturn. The Sabian symbol for Saturn's location, 9 degrees Pisces, rounds to 10 degrees Pisces, an aviator in the clouds. The theme here is observation, viewing things from a higher point of view or broader perspective. The key here is in cultivating the curiosity of a child. Distancing yourself can help gain greater clarity or perspective. Look at the whole picture and the patterns, which Virgo Moon is adept at identifying. Let's analyze that Virgo Moon. Whenever the moon is in Virgo, we'll need to watch for workaholism, all work and no play make Jack or Jill a dull boy or girl, physical issues related to the skin and the intestines, IBS, flare-ups, eczema, psoriasis, nervous flare-ups, being your own worst enemy by internalizing feelings of failure, lack, inadequacy, or guilt. We need to learn that it's okay to take risks and that failure is just as valuable a learning opportunity as success. Virgo moons can get a little too tangled in the weeds of details and fail to see the big picture, which is where Pisces and Sagittarius energy can really help balance. Above all else, Virgo moon is called to overcome a scarcity or lack mentality and instead lean into live and let God as we learn to trust the process or universe and surrender all control and anxiety to a higher power, whatever you deem that higher power to be. There may be a tendency to want to continue to do things just right, and this perfectionism is a harsh standard to live up to. In attempting to be perfect, you inevitably fail, and thereby internalize a feeling of inadequacy or shame. This could also have come from the results of living under the ego-shattering impact of discipleship under an exacting master, guru, parent, or person who had power over you. Can even include abuse. You may have had competitive siblings or demanding parents. A demanding parent, a helicopter parent, a parent who lives vicariously through you instead of allowing you to be your individual self, is often at the root of narcissism. You may have been under the strict eye of someone older and more controlling, or even a cultural system, such as Puritanism or Nazism, that disempowered you in setting strict standards of behavior. This is from Elizabeth Spring's South Node Astrology, analyzing the South Node in Virgo, which, as you'll recall from previous videos, a South Node placement is very similar to a moon placement. Ultimately, the Virgo full moon wants us to remember that the devil is in the details as we focus on the more minutia of our daily lives, health, schedules, and routines, down to the ingredients and chemicals we ingest and our overall habits and work-life balance. Virgo rules over our intestines and gastrointestinal systems, so it's imperative we prioritize our gut health and support a healthy microbiome, while we simultaneously shed unhealthy patterns of workaholism that lead to burnout, as we learn to prioritize rest and recuperation under this transit and throughout Pisces season. The full moon in Virgo can indicate something viral, so be sure to fortify your immune system, especially since leap year 2024 seems to so far indicate themes of deja vu and a return or resurfacing of people and events from 2020, if you catch my drift. Saturn's presence in close proximity to the Sun and Mercury could indicate a return of rules and regulations around health. It's like Groundhog's Day all year in a very karmic 8-year. Remember, in numerology, 2024, the digits add to 8, which is infinity sideways, representing the never-ending flow of karma. So far, we can see 2020 and 2024 are both leap years. Both featured the same Super Bowl contenders and Super Bowl champion, the Chiefs. Early spring predicted for both years, with several freak snowstorms in the Northeast leading up to that early spring, and more than likely the same two presidential candidates come November. The Sabian symbol for 5 degrees Virgo rounds to 6 degrees Virgo, a merry-go-round. The keyword for this Sabian symbol is diversion. This indicates the repetition of cycles and a need for fun and enjoyment. This is about knowing when to get off the ride. We don't jump out of the car while the vehicle is still moving. Similarly, if we fail to release a situation when the time calls for it, we may be doomed to repeat the cycle. If we fail to exit the roller coaster or merry-go-round, we may be stuck for another round. If we fail to do the healing, we're fated to repeat the cycle. It's time to exit the matrix and level up. This Sabian symbol indicates the return of a person or situation from our pasts. On the negative, watch for a tendency to go in circles instead of learning from past experiences. On the positive, it represents the ability to make the most of challenging circumstances and to make a game of it and enjoy this ride we call life. Go with the flow, but at the same time, don't ride the roller coaster. Don't get too attached to the highs nor the lows, and understand that everything is temporary. This too shall pass. Above all else, always maintain that childlike sense of humor, joy, and curiosity. The full moon occurring at the 5th degree, which is a Leo degree, indicates a need to play, to shine unapologetically like Leo's ruler, the sun, and to be creative. Let's explore some of the additional aspects involved. We have the moon opposite Saturn, which restricts emotions, empathy, and compassion. It's common in the charts of narcissists and known psychopaths, but remember to look at the entire chart. For example, a restriction to emotionality can help temper somebody who's overly emotional. If the moon is in an air, earth, or fire sign and it falls into a house that's associated with air, earth, or fire energy, well, this may be a red flag. The sun's presence here, in between Mercury and Saturn, can indicate a feeling that outside forces are working against us or restricting us in some way. Moon opposite Mercury, especially with Mercury in Pisces, indicates we're having difficulty verbally expressing our deeper feelings and emotions. But perhaps a more creative, visual, or musical outlet would be a much easier way for us to express ourselves under these creative energies. We have Moon trine Jupiter, with Jupiter 10 degrees Taurus. Jupiter expands the emotionality and feelings of the moon. We have Moon in conjunct Pluto, Mars in Pluto, which is still aligned with Venus, aligned in Aquarius. The moon represents the public, and the alignment of Pluto here intensifies the future and social progress focused energies of the highly creative alignment of Venus and Mars in Aquarius. This gives tremendous power to the underdogs, as those who were once considered outcasts and black sheep are leading the path to a more equitable society. Moon quincunx Pluto intensifies our emotions, making them much harder to not only suppress, but control. So watch for projecting those unconscious fears and insecurities. We have a mutable T-square focused on Pallas Athena, 4 degrees Sagittarius, squaring off against the Sun, Mercury, and Saturn, all aligned in Pisces, opposite working against the moon. We also have Neptune, 26 degrees Pisces, square Vesta, 22 degrees Gemini. This specifically indicates we're facing challenges as we try to tap into our more spiritual side. We're having trouble letting go and surrendering control. Vesta and Gemini ultimately wants you to embrace the curiosity, adaptability, and creativity of the twins. If you're wondering what Gemini energy looks like, I have my moon and Mars in conjunction in Gemini. I am very Gemini. We have Saturn coming into an exact sextile to Jupiter and Taurus. This has been a long-term transit, and you've guessed it, it will continue to bring atmospheric rivers, extreme weather events, and flooding. We also have Gong Gong, talked about it in the previous video, which I'll link here and down below in the description. The new moon in Aquarius video, where I talk about Gong Gong pretty deeply, is in alignment with Saturn here as well, so we can continue to see themes of flooding. How to work with the energy. This transit affects placements 0 to 10 degrees of the mutable signs, especially Virgo and Pisces, but also Gemini and Sagittarius, as these will form challenging squares to the full Virgo moon. You can practice meditation, yoga, keep a dream journal, and use dream interpretation, prioritize rest and recuperation, visit the ocean. I know I'll be heading to Fort Lauderdale the day after this full moon. I'm getting this video out much earlier than normal, so I can fully relax and enjoy my vacation. It's much earned. And you can take a luxurious bath like I did before this video, or you could visit the day spa, which I'll be doing tomorrow as a reward for finishing this video. You can work with crystals, most notably, let's pick some of the ones that are near me. Amethyst is a great stone for Pisces energy. Labradorite is great for Pisces and Libra. Which is the full color spectrum. This one's great for dreams, dream interpretation. And lepidolite, which I have a lepidolite point under my bed, so I would have to fish that out to get it for you, but lepidolite is also wonderful for dreams and dream recall. Let's talk a little bit about what's coming on the astrological horizon. On Tuesday, February 27th, 2024, Mercury and Saturn align in Pisces, which can indicate blocks and restrictions to global trade and transport on the seas, oceans, and even rivers. Tuesday derives from the Old English Tuesday, literally meaning Tuesday, named for Mars. Tuesday is therefore Mars Day. The ancient Babylonians associated Mars with aggression due to the planet's reddish hue, and they performed special ceremonies on Tuesdays to avoid the wrath of this aggressive and warlike planet. Similarly, the ancient Greeks, who adopted their calendar from the Babylonians, and the Romans later adopted their calendar from the Greeks, named Tuesday for Ares, their savage god of war. The Romans adopted, like we said, this 7-day system from the Greeks, and their Tuesday is called Dies Martis, Mars's day. Mars in Aquarius forms an exact square to Jupiter in Taurus, expanding the need to fight for our freedoms, liberties, and belief systems. On Wednesday, February 28th, 2024, we have Saturn Cazimi, Saturn's rebirth. The Sun, Mercury, and Saturn all align at 9 degrees Pisces. Remember that 9 degrees is a Sagittarius degree. It's related to travel, aviation, international affairs, higher education, and spirituality. The alignment of Saturn with Mercury and the Sun can involve themes of censorship coming to the forefront of the media and our attention. On Thursday, February 29th, 2024, we have Leap Day, which, depending on how you look at it, can be considered lucky or unlucky. Most cultures, I would say, consider Leap Day to be an unlucky day, so we'll have to see what happens. Comment below what you think about Leap Day. But one of the cultures that thinks Leap Day is lucky is the Irish culture. There's a tradition in Ireland where on Leap Day, February 29th of the leap year, women can propose to men. And there are all sorts of laws, as I was doing my research, across various different countries, but Scotland, Denmark, Ireland, that if a man refused the proposal, he would owe this woman some sort of a fine, from £1 up to the cost of an expensive gown. In Denmark, I believe it was 12 gloves, so a glove for every month, so she could cover up the fact that she wasn't engaged. And these traditions are fascinating to me. But in America, we actually consider Leap Day to be quite lucky. And this is where we got the tradition for Sadie Hawkins, which was one of the earliest forms of shaking that gender conformity, and we Aquariuses don't really like conforming to any societal conventions, but Sadie Hawkins was an opportunity for females, anyone who identified as a female, to ask the male to the dance instead of those societal and cultural expectations of the man always having to pursue and ask the woman. Anyway, I'll stop rambling about Leap Day and let me know what you think of Leap Day and all these fun connections. Stay tuned. The next time you'll hear from me will be for the Pisces new moon in early February. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening to this video. Please remember to like, comment, click that notification bell, make sure it's selected to all, to share the video, and ensure that you are subscribed. Thank you on our journey to 500 subscribers, where we can monetize this creative outlet and maybe get a little bit of reward for all that consistent effort over time. If you took anything away from this video, I encourage you to check out these other videos. Thank you, and I look forward to seeing you soon.